Welcome to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. I'm Mike.
And I'm John. We're a couple of overweight barbecue enthusiasts trying to share our love for sweet and smoky food with the world.
Thanks for hanging out with us as we talk about life, share recipes, successes, and failures that have all led to our love of cooking outdoors. Welcome, everybody, to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. I'm Mike, here with John.
Mike, you nailed that.
Dude, I practiced all day today. I didn't really, but I'm getting to the point where you can kind of feel where it's supposed to.
Well done. Sorry to throw off your groove.
No, it's fine. I appreciate it.
Good work.
It's good to be back in studio, John. I feel like it's been a minute. We've been busy with the holidays, and we had Adam over at This Juke and Q last time, and it's been a while since we've recorded again.
It has, yeah. I think we're going on a week and a half.
Yeah.
But I kind of like it.
Yeah.
At first, I wasn't a big fan of these like midweek recordings because it's a bit of a crunch to edit and get it launched for tomorrow. But it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is going to hit right away.
Right, and I feel like it gives us a little bit more time. We have the weekend to try new recipes, stuff like that. So.
Yeah. And man,
yeah.
We just talked about this. Like, it was a long weekend.
It was 4th of July weekend.
Really good.
Yeah.
Weird Tuesday holiday.
Yeah, it almost extended the weekend. Like, I didn't work on Monday. We were camping the whole time. So
yeah, I took Monday off.
Yeah. So, but did some cooking, and we'll get to that. But first, you have a shout out.
I do. Part of this weekend, I spent a little time scrolling, which productive scrolling. I feel like I death scroll all the time. Mm-hmm. But I found a new one. So Arnie, his handle is Arnie Tex, and his company is, make sure I get this right, the American Pitmaster Company. And he's got some master classes on brisket and pork shoulders and stuff. So if you're trying to figure it out, I haven't tried any of his classes, but that's an option for you. But he's like a man after my own heart. Like, some of the stuff that he cooks, he lives down in McAllen, Texas, and has a lot of Hispanic influences in his cooking that you can see. So lots of jalapenos and tacos and fajitas. And so I found him. I scrolled all the way through his stuff. The post that sucked me in was for queso fondue, which is a Mexican cheese melted with chorizo in it. Oh. And it's one of my favorite, just like appetizer type.
Like, you dip chips in? Is that the story? Interesting.
Chips or, he does it, and I've seen this done a couple of times. I've never been able to get away with it without getting a dirty look from my mother. Mm-hmm. But you take a tortilla and just like stick it in there and pinch it out. Oh. Almost like a quesadilla that you make right there.
Interesting.
And it's way good.
Huh. I've never heard of this. I'm intrigued.
Yeah, anyways, he's got a bunch of stuff on there. I think it was Sunday. Pretty sure it was Sunday. Sunday dinner was a recipe, or at least a cook inspired by him. I had never thought of doing this before, but he was talking about making beef tacos. Okay. And he showed this picture of it, and it was chuck, like a chuck roast. Okay. But it had been sliced. Like, so think of a chuck roast, and like taking a slice off the top of that chuck roast. Oh. So you get this like thin, papery, like big piece of meat, and cooked it on the flat top. Oh. Seasoned it out there, so it was awesome. We did tacos on Sunday, and I pulled the meat slicer out, sliced a chuck roast down into, I don't know, it was like 1/8 of an inch. Threw it out on the Blackstone, hit it with salt, pepper, had grilled some limes to squeeze over the top of it.
Grilled limes. Mm-hmm. How does one? You just throw it on the Blackstone, or
yeah, I cut them in half and put them right on the Blackstone.
Interesting.
Like meat side down.
Why?
It loosens up the juice.
Oh, okay.
So it starts to kind of steam and get it hot in there. So when you squeeze it, like, it just comes gushing out.
Oh,
so it was
noted.
Yeah, did that. Hit it with a little Dia de la Fajita, and then took it over and had tacos at my parents' place.
And then do you slice it into little strips for tacos? Or okay,
yeah. So I cooked all the meat up, and I kind of broke it up a little bit on the flat top. Mm-hmm. But threw it on a tray. I started heating up tortillas. Which, have we talked about the tortilleria here in town?
Yeah, here in town. Yeah, I still haven't been, but every time we talk about it, I'm like, ooh, what's on the list? Dude, and then I forget about it.
The tortillas are bomb.
And they make them right there, right?
Yeah. Yeah, like I went on, they make corn tortillas on Saturday.
Okay.
And I always go and they've got warm tortillas. And they're so much better.
My brother and my sister and my brother-in-law ate dinner there once. Apparently, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's a real simple menu, but their gorditas are friggin' awesome.
Right on.
So, anyways, so while I was heating up tortillas, Haley brought the meat inside and went Freddy Krueger with a cleaver on it. And chopped it all up and ran over to the parents and like super basic. I mean, it was meat, onions, a little cilantro on tortillas.
Those are my favorite type of tacos.
Yeah.
Simple, just like that.
My dad made rice. We had some beans, and it was just comfort food.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
I think next time I do it, I'll probably marinate the meat. It didn't have quite as much flavor as I wanted, and it was a little tough.
Would you marinate it post-slicing or before you slice it?
Post. Surface area, man.
That's what I was thinking,
too. It's all about surface area.
All right, good.
So,
all right, I approve. I approve of this.
Yeah. But it was great. I was, like, chuck roasts were on sale a couple of months ago, so I bought 4 or 5 of them. Mm-hmm. And you can do brisket, you can do burnt ends, like with a chuck roast, and you can always do potatoes and carrots Sunday. Yep. I don't know, just
try something a little different.
I get bored.
Yeah.
So this was awesome. And
that sounds great.
Total inspiration from Arnie. It was awesome.
And that was his recipe. Right on. Arnie Tex.
Arnie Tex.
Okay.
Yeah. He's got a...
How do you spell that?
ARINETEX.
ARINE or NIE?
I don't... Dude,
I tried to look it up while you were talking, which is why I'm asking how to spell it.
ARNIETEX.
TEX, okay. I did ARNYTEX, and it was not a barbecue guy. So
not safe for home? Is that what you're saying?
No, it was fine. It was just different language.
Yeah, no, it's funny though. When I was in 4th grade, like I was really struggling with spelling. Like we had moved around a bunch, and part of my time growing up was like in the deep South, and which is a whole different conversation. You want to talk about a different world, man? Just go south of the Mason-Dixon and hang out in an elementary school. But like phonics were totally foreign to me. Like couldn't spell them. My teacher's like, "Don't worry, John's smart. Like he'll have a secretary." I mean, Bill wasn't wrong, but I just don't think he realized that it'd be ChatGPT.
Yeah, right. Dude, ChatGPT is awesome.
Dude, I use it daily at work now, and all of my direct reports are using it.
All of my all of my first experiences with it were from the English teachers freaking out. Like, what are we going to do? And, dude, I use it all the time for, I'm doing some computer science stuff right now, and I have to, type in, explain this as if it were a 5-year-old. And it dumbs things down for me. I found it very helpful. But.
Yeah. One of the guys at work told me that he had put in, give me a recipe for, and I don't remember what it was he wanted.
Oh.
And it, sure enough, man, spit out a recipe.
Really? Interesting. We should have just a day where we do ChatGPT recipes.
Dude, that sounds terrifying.
Yeah, that would be terrifying, but good clean family fun for people to watch.
That's true. I'll give them that.
Well, we did some cooks this weekend. You just talked about one. We thought today we'd just kind of talk about the cooks that we did and what we learned from them and stuff like that, yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it's 4th of July, and I try to make a big point with my kids, like Memorial Day, 4th of July, even Labor Day to some extent. But these are holidays that, especially for me and like being big on barbecue, like it's super easy just to focus on the food and like the barbecues and
the
hanging
parties
out with friends but man, we're so lucky to live where we live.
Yeah.
Especially in this day and age, like there's a lot of crap going on. And
oh man, for reals. I was talking with somebody today who's got a relative from Sudan, and apparently it's just nonstop civil war over there and a lot of issues, and he had to go and help rebuild a house that had been damaged in a rock slide or something, and then, you know, barely made it back and dodging gunfire. And it's just like, man, and I get mad when my internet is running slow, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
we're just so blessed to live where we live. And
well, yeah, I mean, all the first world conveniences, but like it's totally safe. We can say whatever we want about whoever we want, and
yeah,
sure, maybe we get canceled, maybe we get, like, there is rhetoric back.
Yeah.
In very few cases do we live in a society where we're at like physical harm.
Right. Yeah.
So very grateful to those who served and
made it possible.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I do want to talk about the barbecue. I didn't want to.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you did. I agree.
Tell us about I mean, you were like off the grid all weekend.
Man. Yeah. So
I was like getting lonely. I didn't have anyone to talk to.
I know.
Had to talk
I
to
had
my
no
kids.
service. My phone died, so I didn't take any pictures.
What?
I know. We need full-time cameramen to just follow us around. I told Damon that was his job, but then my phone died, so. Yeah, so my wife's family rents some property up Blacksmith Fork Canyon, and so we went up there and stayed. I think we went up Friday night, and I came back a couple of times in between, but for different work things. But yeah, we were up there, no cell phone service, and I took the offset. And I mean, my wife's family, her dad has 2 other siblings, and they all bring, I mean, all their kids, and they're probably, I don't know, I'm sure somebody did a hard count, but they're probably 30, 35 people up there with all the kids and stuff.
Oh, nice.
Which it's fun. But last year, my wife's aunt was like, you should smoke something for us. Like thinking like, haha, you would never want to do that. That would be a nightmare. And I was like, that sounds phenomenal. So I did. I smoked a brisket and a pork shoulder. Pulled out the offset for the 3rd time. I'm digging the offset, dude. Like, it is a lot of fun. I feel like I'm finally figuring it out. Like,
that's awesome.
From first cook to now. I mean, I say 3 cooks, but we're talking like 12, 14-hour cooks. Like,
yeah, I was going to say,
we're putting some miles on it.
You're pushing 40 hours at this point.
Yeah, so I've learned a lot, and it's good. So, trimmed the brisket the night before. And we talked last time I did a brisket about how I felt guilty wasting so much as I trimmed, and I was like, man, this is terrible. But that meat just doesn't work. Like, there's just too much fat, and you have to. And so I did make some tallow for the first time just to see how it would work. Just kind of put it in a foil pan, and that worked good. So I used a water pan this time, hoping that it would kind of regulate temperature. It's the first time I've done that. But ran some hickory until I ran out. So it smoked with hickory for, well, let me start over. So I trimmed the brisket the night before, woke up at 4 the next morning, put a little Holy Cow from Meat Church, and topped it with some hot barbecue rub from Killer Hogs.
Ooh, nice.
Dude, it was a good combo. It had a little bit of a bite, but it wasn't overpowering. And then threw the brisket on, and while the brisket was rolling, I seasoned up a pork butt, just simple. Used AP rub from Killer Hogs and the hot barbecue rub, or no, the barbecue rub, he calls it, not hot, so there's less pepper, more sugar. and let her roll. So I smoked it for a few hours till they hit the stall, and then I wrapped the brisket in paper, and I wrapped the pork butt in foil just because I was a little concerned about timing.
Yeah.
And I didn't really care what the bark looked like because I was going to shred it anyway. And kind of spritzed it with apple cider vinegar before I wrapped it every hour or so. Ran out of hickory and just used mesquite, which I'm nervous for mesquite because it has kind of an off-putting flavor if you let the fire go out.
Yeah,
really strong.
I mean, it's a strong. I think mesquite's stronger than hickory.
Yeah.
I know on all the charts it's not, but
yeah,
I think it is.
I think it, yeah. And I, honestly, it was hard getting the mesquite, like, lit. I don't know what it was, but had a heck of a time. Like, I let the fire go out once, and it was, I mean, I was blowing in the firebox for a good 5 minutes before I could finally get the flame back up. However, at that point, and let me get your take on this, it had been about 3 or 4 hours with the hickory. At that point, I feel like the meat has kind of absorbed the smoke that it's going to absorb.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at that point.
And I feel like an off-putting, even if I had screwed up the hickory or the mesquite, I feel like it wouldn't have played a huge role. It could have made it bitter if I let it go for too long or had some nasty white smoke or something.
Yeah, I think you still could have ended up with that bitterness. Mm-hmm. And I know what you're talking about. There's really no other way. Like, it's like almost like acidic. Like it.
Yeah.
But it would have just been surface taste. It wouldn't have gotten into the meat and ruined it.
And at that point, I was I had them wrapped basically within a couple hours. Oh, yeah. And at that point,
you're fine.
I feel like I thought about this as I was doing it. I was like, I wonder if you could just put this in the oven and get a similar result at that point. It's less fun. And I didn't have that option up there, but it crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Thoughts?
Like, push comes to shove, I know you can. Like, I've done it before. I ran out of pellets and I had to finish it, so I swapped it over to the oven. Mm-hmm. It tastes different.
Yeah.
And maybe it's like totally psychological. It's like cooking over charcoal in your backyard versus cooking over charcoal up the mountain. Like, like smell plays a big part of it in your surroundings. So
yeah, maybe that's right.
Maybe that's all it is, but I feel like the couple of times I've had brisket that was finished in the oven, I'm like,
not as good enough.
Yeah, just like it's missing something at the end. So, but again, could be totally psychological.
Yeah, I mean, a part of me was like, that'd be an interesting experiment, and the other part of me is like, I don't care. Like, I'd much rather use the smoker. Yeah. Like, it's way more fun. But
no, so I'm curious, how much fuel did you go through?
I went through quite a bit. So I had a leftover bag of hickory. I only had a few logs, and I don't know. I didn't measure it or anything, but I probably had 3 or 4 half logs of hickory that I split up and went through that. And then I went through, you actually hooked me up with some cherry and some pecan. So I went through a couple sticks of cherry just to kind of keep the heat rolling in between. And then I pulled out the mesquite, and I probably had half a bag of mesquite left, and I did not use all of it to finish the cook. So,
and this is helpful only for me and nobody else because nobody else knows how much wood I gave you.
Yeah.
Would you have needed more than that for your cook?
I don't think... if I would have used everything you gave me, I probably could have made it, but I may have needed a little bit more.
Okay, that's not bad, though.
No, and like I say, I'm getting more efficient. I feel like I'm learning how to manage the fire better, and I feel like the wood... Like, the first time I used it, I was like, I'm going through so much wood, but if you do it right, it's really, it does okay. Where was I? We wrapped it. Yeah, so then I just took it. I pulled the pork butt off at 203 or something, and I pulled the brisket at like 198, which I was going to take it a little bit further, but I wanted to rest it for a couple hours. And so the brisket, the smoke ring on that brisket, dude, was the most phenomenal thing I've ever seen. Like, it was my first, like, I mean, and I've had some good ones, but it was my first, like, ooh, like people commented, like, how do you get this thick ring on here? I was like, yes, I've arrived, dude. It was awesome. And it went fast. Like, everybody loved it. Sliced it up. And I mentioned I made some tallow, so I kind of drizzled a little bit of that, but I didn't want to be like beef fat over everything. So I kind of drizzled it after I...
That's what the beef ribs were like.
Yeah.
The short ribs I did.
Oh, dude.
That was like, just dump all the tallow on it.
Yeah. Dude. And it made a difference. I saw that on Chud's Barbecue. We talked about that. Yeah. I watched him make a couple briskets, and he just did every trick that he'd ever seen. And that's one of the things he did. And it was good. The pork butt, and I'd never done this before, but I took my pork butt, again, a good smoke ring, like it smelled so good. The instant reed bone just came right out. Felt really good about it. I brought bear claws, didn't even need them, like just everything shredded. And then I took a little bit of apple cider vinegar, not a ton, but a little bit, and then some brown sugar, which actually my brother had told me about in the shredding process. So sprinkled just a little bit of brown sugar, probably a quarter cup, maybe a little more, maybe a little less, and a little bit more rub, and just mixed it together. Some of the best pulled pork I've ever had. I was pretty happy with the results.
Dude, that's awesome.
So it was good. It went fast, and everybody was really nice, which, what are you going to say? But, I mean, nobody had to say anything. So
it's hot. You're camping. People are tired.
Yeah.
There's no personal space. Like, people tend to share their opinions.
Right. That's a good point. There was a lot of drama. But, yeah, it was, it went well, and I was pretty happy with it. We capped it off with Whitney's cousin made some Dutch oven potatoes that were really good, and everything kind of went well together. And
nice.
I was hoping to bring some brisket home, but it was polished off. Like,
dude, that's the best feeling when you like go, and especially when you go to like a bigger event and there's a couple of people that are bringing stuff, and you walk up and you just pick up your cutting board and leave.
Yeah. It was awesome. It was good. So I learned a lot and had a lot of fun with the offset. And
did you take the fat guy's
cutting board
with you?
I didn't. I wanted to, but space was limited and it was heavy. But I should have, because it would have looked so good to have beautiful brisket, beautiful pork butt. Then I probably would have taken some pictures with somebody else's phone and having them send them to me. But it's good.
Just means we got to go do it again.
100%, dude.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. So, what about you? What'd you cook?
So we talked about the tacos.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to like think back. We talked about this like this weekend. Like feels like it was an eternity.
Yeah.
Like it was so much happened this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Including we made 100 loaves of bread with a bunch of youth.
We did. We should talk about that. That went way better than I thought it was going to.
Yeah, it could have been a friggin' disaster.
Yeah.
But I think it was the right amount of people.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe one or two more adults would have been helpful, but otherwise, only one mild injury. And,
100 loaves of bread. And most of the people there had never set foot in a kitchen before.
Yeah, it was clear that even if they had never seen bread dough before.
Yeah.
The whole concept of like, you want it slightly sticky, but not too sticky. But if you put too much flour in, they're like, what? Huh?
Yeah. They were like, what's going on?
Yeah. But no, that was fun.
It was fun.
So that was what, Saturday?
Yeah, Saturday.
Did that Saturday. Sunday was tacos. And then that's right. Monday, I did the Meat Church Mexican chicken sandwich.
This is what I want to hear about, because I watched his video and I am excited to hear the results.
Dude, it was so good. And next time, like, I'm cranking the spice level up. Like it was a little spicier warm, but like a Wendy's chicken sandwich or a Chick-fil-A spicy sandwich is way hotter than the way I made it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. So in the recipe, it says, like, it's a great barbecue recipe. It's like, so just kind of do this and, do it for 4 to 24 hours, depending on how spicy you want it.
4 to 24 hours.
Yeah. Like
a bit of a window there.
Yeah. So you take a can of pickled jalapenos, that it's I mean, just go Google the recipe. Like, it's all over the place. Mm-hmm. And Haley was, like, appalled. Because everyone's posting pictures of their chicken thighs in their marinade bag. Mm-hmm. And she's like, really? That's the picture you're going to use for your cover? On I was like, yeah, like, that's what everybody's doing.
That's
like,
the thing.
But, so I marinated mine for about 6 hours. Mm-hmm. And then I cooked it out on my Weber kettle. I'm like a total charcoal junkie this summer. Like, I can't get enough of it.
Dude, I love my Weber kettle.
So, did it with lump charcoal and threw a piece of that cherry. I took a couple of those logs that I gave you and just like cut them into like 3-inch sections. Threw that in. And it just smokes like crazy. So,
you just throw it on top of the charcoal.
Yeah, once it's lit.
Yeah.
And then you baste it in, you take a stick of butter, and they used 8 ounces of Cholula hot sauce. I used like 3 ounces because I was cooking for my kids and for Haley. And
you say baste like throughout the cook or once at the end?
Yeah, so I've got like a little cast iron pan that I put out on the kettle, melted down the butter, put in the hot sauce, mixed it up, and then pulled it off the heat and just left it on the grill. And every time I opened it or turned them or did anything, I just hit it with that butter. So, and I forgot, you put dia de la fajita on it as well.
At the beginning?
No, after you pull it out of the
marinade.
Gotcha. Yeah. So you did that, then put some cheese on it, toasted up some buns, and put the chicken on the buns, and it was just smoky, juicy, just a hint of a spice. Like, it was redonkulous. It was real good. And
you mentioned that next time you do it, you would for sure marinate it longer. Is that where the majority of the heat came from, or do you think the glaze... No, kicking it up a little bit would have made more of a difference? I
mean, I think both, but like the penetrating spice,
the heat throughout,
comes from that marinade. And I may even go as far as like cracking open some of the jalapenos because they're all whole in that marinade. They're in that pickled can, and
so if you open them up, the seeds are interesting.
Yeah, but it was so good.
That sounds good.
Yeah,
I need to try that. I don't know that my kids would eat something spicy, though. I'm kind of...
It wasn't... Like, when I did it, I'm telling you, there's one left over. Take it home tonight. It wasn't spicy at all.
Really?
Like,
just flavorful and...
Yeah, like, I could taste the pickling brine and, like, a real light hint of jalapeno. Like, I kind of want it to burn twice a little bit. So, so I'd been really excited to try that one for a while.
Yeah.
And that was awesome. So we did that on a Monday, went to the fireworks. I was telling you about this. I sat in my car for like literally an hour before I got out of my parking spot.
Yeah. Ridiculous. I've heard that from a couple people.
It was the biggest joke I've ever seen in my life at a public event.
Yeah.
Like it was ridiculous trying to leave. But one of the most spectacular thunderstorms I have ever seen in Utah.
Yeah.
We saw on the way home.
See, I watched it from the inside of a tent and obviously didn't have my windows open, so it would just flash and then thunder like unreal thunder that I hadn't heard for a long time. So
yeah, so you've coached sports here, youth sports here in the valley. The WeatherBug app. It had dots for lightning in across the street in their backyard and on top of the house behind me.
Really?
Like it just like came right through. And for a kid that like grew up in the deep South and in the Midwest, like I was super excited.
It was kind of fun to watch. Huh?
Yeah. A couple of my boys were like, I'm not so sure about this. Like, this is kind of scary. And I was like, no, this is awesome.
Dude, I love a good thunderstorm. Love it.
Yeah, brought back memories of when I was a teenager. We were driving home in one of those thunderstorms where like it's just raining so hard that you can't even see like the hood of the car. And lightning struck right off the side of the road. And we were doing, I mean, we were real smart because you couldn't see. It was pitch black other than the lightning, and we were doing like 65, 70 miles an hour on this 2-lane highway. And I remember the lightning hit my buddy, like I still remember it to this day, Andy going, "So I can't see." I'm being like, "Yeah, me either."
Like a flashbang grenade.
Dude,
kinda.
we were blinded for a solid like 10 seconds. That it's the only time I can ever remember him taking his foot off the accelerator while he was a bat out of hell, man. He drove like a maniac, which was a lot of fun as a teenager. But
Yeah.
it like reminded me of that. Like ever since I've driven through thunderstorms like that, I always drive with one eye closed.
Yeah. Just so that you have a good one, huh? Never thought about that.
Well, our other buddy's a pilot, and he says when they used to teach him when you fly in thunderstorms, like you should fly with an eye closed.
Interesting.
Because you don't need depth perception. Like you're not going to be that close, but you're going to need to be able to see your panels and stuff.
Huh.
I don't know.
Noted.
Carly will have to comment and tell us if that's total BS. But
dude, speaking of Carly got a Yoder.
yeah, man.
What a jerk. He was like, I don't know if I can get a pellet grill.
I'm not sure
I'll have
my
to
wife's
convince
going to let me.
And then he gets the freaking Cadillac of the pellet grill world.
I'm just trying to, like, I should stop and think about this for a minute.
Okay. I'll be here.
So all of the smokers, and like everyone gives me crap because I've got too many smokers and too many cookers. Like this is a regular running joke.
Sure.
All of the smokers I have ever bought, including the ones that I've gifted, all summed up together cost less than that Yoder.
Oh, man. But they're awesome. And I'm green with jealous rage. He made a brisket and a pork butt this weekend too. He said it was some of the best he's ever had. He's pretty excited about it. So good for him.
I'm happy. He was over at my dad's today buying pellets. So
yeah.
I'll take the sales.
Yeah.
But yeah, did you see Bearded Butcher partnered with Yoder on a custom line?
Oh, that's sweet.
You can get a Yoder with a laser cutout metal emblem of the Bearded Butcher.
Of the Bearded Butcher, that's sweet.
That's bad, dude. That's
Very
what that
cool.
is.
Yeah, that's way cool.
So,
well, what else, John?
I think we're about there.
That's what I was thinking. Why quit while we're ahead? You know.
I know we've got a couple. I've got a couple of cooks coming up. Well,
yeah.
One of them you need to help me with.
Oh, good.
We need to talk about that tonight.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. That should be like our next episode or something. Should be good.
Yep, certainly could be. And then the next week, you've got your cookout coming.
I do, man. Competition's on the 22nd. So
22nd, yeah.
Yeah. We're excited, and we're going to try to do a run-through before, but I feel like we've kind of got our recipes dialed in. Honestly, last year, I thought, first competition I'd ever done anything like that, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was like, I could win this. And now I'm like, I'm not in it to win it. I just want to enjoy it and have a good time and try some new stuff and hopefully mingle with some people that have the same interest, you know? And
yeah. So
looking forward to it. It should be fun, but
yeah,
I'm less nervous this time because I don't care.
I'm going to try and get back. Friday night, I'm driving up to the Young Men's Camp.
Oh, are you? Up around?
Yeah, I really wanted to stay behind and do the competition. I'd kind of psyched myself up for it, but I think I'm cooking a brisket that night, or for that night. So
right on.
I'll run that up there, and then I want to come back and come over and see you guys.
Yeah, you should.
So, do you have your chicken figured out?
No, I put my brother in charge of it, but we're thinking we want to try lollipops. We'll see how it goes.
Oh, that's right. You don't have to do thighs this year.
Yeah, and I don't love thighs anyway, so I was like, let's try something different.
I love thighs, but I hate cooking skin on, bone in chicken thighs.
That's a good point. I do love thighs, and I feel like the meat is more flavorful and you can do more stuff with it. But the whole competition thighs with the skin, not a huge fan.
Yeah. I know someone was asking me this weekend, their daughter's getting married, and they were asking me about how I would make chicken tacos and, you know, how I would cook chicken to shred it. I was like, I wouldn't.
I would.
They're like, what do you mean? I was like, I don't like shredded chicken. Like, you want shredded chicken? Like, that's great. Like, cooking in some chicken broth and throw a can of enchilada sauce in there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I do grilled chicken thighs all day, every day. 100% chop it up with a cleaver, and that's how you have chicken tacos.
That's what you use for tacos, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. I need to make me some chicken tacos or chicken sandwiches. I need to try that meat church recipe for sure.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I won't say it. It's not like anybody listens. You should do lollipops in the in the pickled jalapenos.
Dude, why not? Interesting.
Yeah, go Mexican chicken lollipop.
Yeah. All right. We're doing it.
I like it.
Okay.
I like it a lot.
I'll have to run it by my teammate. Should be good.
Okay, man. Well, until next time, I'm John.
I'm Mike.
And we're Fat Guys with Smokers. Thanks for listening to the Fat Guys with Smokers podcast. Be sure to check us out on Instagram and Facebook. Leave us a comment. We'd love to hear from you. Be sure to subscribe so you don't forget to tune in for even more nonsense from a couple of Fat Guys with Smokers.
Don't forget to like, subscribe.